It's hard to believe that just 100 years ago, women didn't have the vote. 1918 saw the beginning of democratic progress for women in the UK with the Representation of the People Act. There was still a long way to go, and the vote was only available to women over 30 years of age who were either a member of or married to a member of the local government register. But it was the start. Telecoms and women's rights would be interwoven and interdependent, affecting each other in both positive and negative ways, creating positive role models and at times reaffirming the gender-biased social mores of the day. It would have been impossible for those pioneering women who fought for their basic rights to envisage a society in which huge amounts of information could be communicated at the lightning-fast speeds that we are accustomed to. Information which has empowered women and escalated their ability to organise and develop women's rights and initiatives all over the world. It was in the 1960s that BT, then still the GPO, was at the very forefront of pioneering communication technology using glass fibre. At that time, it was also unusual for women to develop significant careers in many aspects of the workplace. More often, they were encouraged to continue to take roles such as secretarial posts or telephone girls. We have come a long way since those days, both in society at large and within the landscape of BT. The workplace has never been more diverse, and women are trailblazing the path forward in every aspect of society. We live in a world full of opportunity and potential. 100 years since women in the UK began their journey towards equality, we wanted to reflect on both how far we have come and be candid about how much there is yet to achieve and the nature of those challenges. We met and spoke with many women across BT in a huge variety of roles. We were keen to find out who has inspired our BT women and what their perception of the future looks like.
It was fascinating just to see all the different times in which women have played a really critical role in BT's history, and it sort of struck me that we've come a really long way since the sort of the days of the 50s and 60s when women had to actually resign when they got married, and you know, to think that's only 30-40 years ago and see how far we've come. And my job is about looking at diversity and inclusion, and part of that is the role that women play in BT in increasing the representation of women at all levels in our organisation, from engineering through to the women on the board. And it sort of struck me to say, actually, we've done some really great stuff, we've got some great heritage, but there's work to do. And what is that work, and how do we celebrate where we are today whilst looking forward to the future?
I've been at BT for 2 years now. I work in the strategy and incubation team within Ventures. So Ventures is part of BT that was formed a couple of years ago when EE joined us. And the role of the strategy and incubation team is to find new ideas that fit in with the BT vision and grow them and develop them into propositions that we can then move into the relevant part of BT.
You shouldn't think that I'm exceptional, because I started as the same as everybody else, but the difference is that I was just pushed myself to the corner. I was forced to. I didn't intentionally, but ended up with a situation like that. But I wanted to keep living. That's it.
I'm a mother. I had maternity leave while I was working in BT. I came back. I found it very flexible and responsive to the needs I had at the time. I worked part-time for a period. Then I went back to full-time when it suited me. There was never an issue. And I think that was really, really attractive to me. I live locally to my main base, but I do travel, and at the same time I can work at home. So there's also like a lot of flexibility there that maybe outside the company you wouldn't necessarily know.
I started at BT about 5 years ago, and I joined as a hire apprentice. So I came straight from school, from sixth form, doing my A-levels, and I joined BT, and I did network engineering.
So what I do currently today, I look after major businesses within business and public sector. So that incorporates roughly about 350 top-tier customers within the UK market.
I knew a lot of people at BT. So I did my university in UCL, University College London. Before that, I grew up in Malaysia. Before that, I grew up in India.
I head up Customer Insight and Futures. I'm part of BT Global Services, and I'm part of the innovation team.
Had a look at apprenticeships, and BT just offered the most. I'm part of a rotation scheme, so I get to see a lot of the company.
I think in some ways being a woman has been a real positive, because if my CV went in for a role, people were intrigued. Oh, blimey, you know, a woman chief architect. Let's meet her. Let's figure out. You know.
So I came here originally as a graduate. I did a 6-month work experience project and decided that I would stick around for a few more years. It turned out it was a lot of fun, and a lot of really interesting stuff, lots of really nice people to work with, so I'm still here. And occasionally I get to do really fun things that I can sort of direct myself.
I'm on the Business Management Graduate Scheme within the Wholesale and Ventures line of business. The Business Management Graduate Scheme is a commercial scheme, and you rotate between different commercial roles spanning product to sales to strategy.
I am the head of stores for the central division within EE Retail. So I look after roughly 140 company stores, also look after around 40 of our franchise estate stores, and also our small business and retail, which goes through our retail stores as well.